Well, it's been like 5,000 years since we last touched the Bustdown series. Not gonna lie, it's just been a bit of a minute because also it's a lot to get a lot of these information, data, and just video clips of just whatever thing I'm trying to get in terms of this type of stuff. Not gonna lie. So today we're obviously going to be doing ZZZ, and let's just straight up see who has the biggest bustiness of all the characters. This is gonna have to get split up in two parts. Not of the bust, but of the cheeks, because we're gonna have to talk about that in the future as well, probably in the near future. And the issue with that is that trying to add both of them at the same time would confuse the list a bit more, and at that point we're just talking about best girl at that point. So when it comes down to it, we're gonna just focus solely on the booba, and that's just how that's going to go. Also, I do want to add that yes, I will be bringing Vivian in this video, but at the same time I will not be talking about anybody that's going to exist within the 2.0 stuff, right? Like that one Void Hunter chick. Like, I'm not gonna put her in this because she's just not in a region of the game that we're going to just yet. We're gonna have to wait till 2.0. So when it comes down to that, we'll have to wait and see. But everything else, I feel like we will chuck in. I'm also not gonna chuck in that one other rat girl that is from that region either, because again, I don't feel like that would be a right thing to do. So to keep very much say, it's just basically the main 1.0 characters, and that's just essentially how it goes. And starting off that list is very much easily going to be number one in the least favorite, or in the least amount in, you know, ass and boob, is going to be Sokaku. Sokaku literally doesn't have much of anything going on. She genuinely doesn't. There is nothing here to really just be praising about outside of just flatness, right? Now granted, I wouldn't typically mind that, but also this is Sokaku, who just eats everything, right? She literally eats everything, and it's a terrible time. Plus, she's possibly the most immature character, so if you try to do anything, I don't think she knows what the hell's happening. So it kind of puts me in a position of, gosh damn it, and it's not going to be as fun. That being said, would you clap? Still, absolutely yes. Use some horns for something. But when it comes down to it though, just overall in terms of like the booba, she doesn't really have much there. So there's not really much to just, you know, sit here and yap about, if I'm gonna be honest. Then, right beside her, in my personal opinion, I think it's Nekomata. Now, I'm not gonna lie, a lot of this list, you might sit here and be like, how does this character beat that character? Again, it's speculation, and obviously, this is my opinion, and when it comes down to it, it doesn't necessarily matter. You can form your own opinion. That being said, I do think it matters to the game that these characters reside in. So when it comes down to it, yes, me personally, I think outside of Nekomata, you know, Sokaku would be like back there, and then Nekomata would be right after that. And the reason for that is because she doesn't really have much else to offer. Yeah, maybe she does, but it's not that big. It's not that big, if I'm gonna be honest. Like, hell, to be real, I kinda, when we get to Korin, I'm kinda like, you know, speculating if I put her in that right position, because I kinda want to take her down a few characters, but still, you know, ultimately, Nekomata don't have that much. She got more I would say she has more ass than she has more boob, if I'm being honest. So I'm not really seeing, you know, Nekomata being like, oh yeah, can't wait to grope up on that. Not really. Nekomata just kind of whatever to me. I'm gonna put Korin next, which is hilarious considering who I'm about to put up next after that, which you can argue to the hills of me, but at the same time, it is what it is. It's hard to see anything when it comes down to Korin. I'm not gonna sit here and lie. It is hard to see if Korin has both either boob or ass, genuinely. But when it comes to the boob department, there is something here. There is a hump here, but it can't be that damn big. I wonder if how much of this is just a costume and how much of it is actually her, the character, you know. So there is very much that. Also, looking at through these type of, you know, bust down listings, obviously it's important to not necessarily go out your way to check for like mods or things like that, because you never really know if it's correctly going to be how they look in size and all that type of stuff, unless the mod is obviously like, you know, not changing the size at all. But still, it's kind of hard to tell if Korin is, you know, actually that busty here, or it's something else. So for me personally, I'm putting Korin like way in the back, which might be a little controversial considering this next character is going to be Kaleda, which I feel like you should already know, but if you don't know, Kaleda is literally the flat goddess to me. She is, in terms of this game, right? Because she just looks that damn good. Yeah, she'll beat your ass, she has hammers, but I don't care. Kaleda's worth clapping all the way from here over yonder. So it is what it is when it comes down to it. Kaleda is just that damn good, right? I understand. Nobody might sit here and think, but Kaleda's not that busty. Corin's more than Kaleda is. Maybe? I don't know. If I'm being honest, I really can't tell you. Maybe so, but at the very same time, like, at least I can see if there's a difference between, you know, actually if Kaleda's busty or not, right? I could see if I actually had Kaleda in my hands, I could probably fill up on them things and be like, okay, yeah, Kaleda's pretty damn good and she belongs in this position. But that's because I can see Kaleda boobs. I can't see Korin. So when it comes down to it, Korin could have a black hole down there and we won't never know. But ultimately, I'll put Kaleda up here. Kinda hate that she's back here, but at the same time, what else can you do? Next up, I'm putting up Lucy here, and when it comes to Lucy, she actually has a lot more than what I was thinking of, right? Like, she actually have a grabbable pair. Like, it's kind of surprising, you know, because just like, because I'm out here thinking, oh, she's a bit flat too, but now that I really see this again, I'm just like, damn, okay, she actually has a bit more of a stack here than what I was thinking of. I guess it ain't for show that she was out here with all that thighs and, you know, not having any type of, you know, boobs to boot, but she actually does, and that's a bit surprising to me. And honestly, I kind of feel that same way with Piper, because she's right after this, and Piper actually has massive boob, right? At least more boob than I thought she would have, right? And that's why I kind of put her over Lucy in terms of this mix, because let's just keep it very much a stack. I think if you paid attention to Piper at all, she has ass for days, right? We're not talking about ass in this one, but damn near, I would highly suggest to my future self to put her in a higher position than this ranking of Booba. But when it comes down to it though, in terms of Booba, I'm not disappointed in this, right? For the sleepy trucker chick that will kill anybody by her driving, literally, she's not that bad. Honestly, Piper is a good mix. She's a good ass mix. Next up is gonna be Qingyi. Now, I'm gonna be real. I feel like you probably may be wondering, maybe, Qingyi feels a bit more flatter than Piper or something like that. Here's the thing, right? Because ZZZ has this issue where certain boob areas feel constrained. So it feels like it's suppressed down. So certain characters could be bigger, certain characters might be a little smaller. Who really knows? But that just being how it kind of looks. So for me personally, I can't tell you if Qingyi is actually a bit more bigger than Piper or not. That being said, I feel like because of the constraints on her whole chest area, there's a fair chance to say that maybe she could. And again, this is where that opinion comes in. And personally, you know, I like both Piper and Qingyi equally on the equal ground of both of these characters in the same room. So when I keep it very much a stack, I would probably, for me at least, say Qingyi is a bit more bigger than Piper, right? In terms of, like, you know, the actual chesties of everything, right? And again, when we get to that other list, we'll talk about the rear end, but still, I feel like Piper's a bit, you know, good, but she's not as big as Qingyi. Which leads us to Belle next, and I'm not gonna sit here and lie, I feel like Belle, man, I kind of hope they give her an outfit at some point in time in the future where we get to see her, like, a bit more revealed than anything else, because I'm not gonna lie, I really hate that we just have this big ass shirt, big ass jacket on top of it, and it's kind of hard to see anything. Like, it genuinely is kind of hard. So to keep very much a stack, like, Belle is great, right? She genuinely just is great character, great assets, all the works. Plenty of people simp the hell out of Belle, and it's easy to see and understand why. But when it comes down to it though, I do feel like Belle is properly back here because she does have a bit of booba, but I wouldn't say it's like the most craziest amount ever, right? I do genuinely think Belle has a lot of it, but I don't think it's that damn crazy. Like, if you put Lamine and Belle together and see who has the most booba, Lamine has more than Belle. I'm just gonna be honest. But ultimately, I don't think it's the worst position she could be in. I don't think it's the worst, but it's not necessarily the best. Now, I think this next character is gonna shock some people, but I'm gonna put Trigger here. Like, I know, Trigger's like literally so tall, so cheeked up, by far top 5 contender of cheeks of any kind. That's just how it is. But if I'm gonna be honest, I don't really see her having a lot of boob. I don't, right? Like, I tried really hard to focus, like, does she have boob? Is that a thing? I don't know. And it doesn't really feel like she does. She has cakes for sure, that's undeniable. But in terms of just rack, I don't see it. I don't see it. And that's like the huge thing, right? Because it's, you could definitely say it's compressed by the armor or whatever. But even with that, I don't see it being that dang big. I don't. And again, maybe this is just my opinion. Maybe it's me tripping, and that's perfectly fine. But at the end of the day, I don't really see how Trigger has that much boob. She just effectively doesn't, right? And that's just kind of, and it feels a bit like insulting, I'm not gonna lie. But ultimately, I don't really think she has that much. So for me personally, I think this is a perfect position for her. And again, you have your opinion, that's perfectly fine. But in terms of like what I see in game, it just feels more like she doesn't have a lot to work with. Mods, fan art, sure. But everything else in canon, I don't really see that. But next up, we end up having Anby, which we're doing base Anby because there's 2 versions of her. But when it comes down to it, base Anby has basically the same problem like everybody else has, which is compressed boob. And we'll get back to obviously Anby again, but when it comes down to it, she ain't really no bigger than Trigger in this version of her, because as much as I love Anby, she doesn't really have, you know, the stackage here. She doesn't. Maybe in other areas, but right here, she doesn't have the same thing. But I wanted to basically show you that yes, Trigger and Anby here, at least this version of Anby, feel the exact same, because it feels like, oh, that chest may be compressed with like, because of the armor or whatever, so that maybe because of that. But at the very same time, we don't really fully know. At least in Trigger's case, we don't really fully know, because she could be bustier, but I'm putting it here because I can't tell. So that's just ultimately how it is. Then, right above base Anby, I'm gonna put Miyabi right here. Miyabi does have a nice pair. Like, let's just keep it very much a stack. Granted, it's not really all that surprising that she should have something, considering how much I've seen people simp for Miyabi extremely hard, even in the modding scene. Bottom heavy Miyabi is something I see constantly on TikTok for whatever reason, even when I'm not really looking at anything Miyabi related. But when it comes down to it though, there are just a boat ton of just content for her, and it's not really surprising as to why. The boob, it by itself, just basically shows you, yes, this Fox Siren is pretty damn worth it. It's pretty damn solid to keep around if we're gonna keep it a stack. So I'm really not mad at this placement for Miyabi. I genuinely, I'm really not, you know. And compared to the next character, I feel like it could have gone either or when it comes down to it, because I feel like they're about the same size of assets. And then that's where Vivian comes in. Now obviously I don't have any footage of Vivian, so we're gonna have to use what we got. But when it comes down to it, Vivian is pretty dang good, right? Even in the other assets of her cheeked up character, I do think she has something underneath that skirt too. But when it comes down to the booba area, this is a either or, right? I feel like this is a mix-up that you can have, whether it's you want Miyabi or Vivian. I feel like you just kind of play favorites if that's what you want to do, who is bigger. But ultimately, I would say Vivian maybe is a bit more bigger than Miyabi. I like both, but you know, you never really know. And again, both of these characters feel a bit the same. Soldier 11, yeah. Soldier 11 is just by far just superior when it comes down to her, you know, Oboe squad and all that type of stuff. She's just that damn good, right? I don't know what I was tripping off of when I first saw Soldier 11. I was like, nah, I don't want that. Are you crazy? Soldier 11 is fine as hell. Not to mention, she has booba that you can see. And I think she's the first character within the whole military of the ZZZ world where you can actually see booba with her uniform. So it's nice. It's nice to see that, right? So to keep very much a stack, she is very much having assets up there. And honestly, just needs to be growth a bit. I'm not gonna lie, it needs to have a hand on them because it just looks too damn lonely to just leave it by itself. There should be some hands there, I'm not gonna lie. But you know who else also matches up with Soldier 11? Ambi Zero, or basically Soldier Zero Silver Squad Ambi, or whatever the hell you want to call her, which is the newer version of her. And yes, Ambi surprised me here. And the reason why this version is superior, obviously, to the base form is mainly because, one, there is no armor on top of her, so it's not really like something super conservative that's up, you know, I guess above her chest or anything like that to weigh it down. Plus, it looks like that damn armor she's wearing, or at least not armor what she's wearing, but clothes she's wearing, like it wants to bust out her damn shirt. Like that's literally how it looks to me. And this is why I'm like, I have to put her here above basically everybody else so far, because she just looks that damn good. Like she be eating on burgers, and we see what them burgers been going to, right? I'm not even sitting here being mad, but at the very same time, I also want to point out and say this, that I feel like Soldier 11 and Ambi right by each other is actually perfect, considering that they're literally cloned from the same source of a person, which we still don't know who the hell they got cloned by. But when it comes down to it though, they're literally the same person body wise, so when it comes down to it, it only makes sense for both Soldier 11 and Ambi to kind of just chill together right in this spot. So ultimately, you know, that's some silver haired booba goodness right there. Next up on the list is Yanagi. Now, this might be a bit of a stretch compared to, you know, the next person later, but when it comes down to it, Yanagi just had booba. It is what it is. I can see why Sokaku is so damn attached to Yanagi, because if I saw that too, I'll be pretty much cooked as well. I'll be want to cling on to Nagi a lot too and call her booby, and that's just how it is. But ultimately, yeah, Yanagi is just big. You know what Yanagi reminds me of? She's just like a pink haired Ganyu. She just makes me think of a pink haired Ganyu, and that's just ultimately how it is. Like I can totally see the Chi-Chi and Yanyu dynamic between Yanagi and Sokaku, so that's just how it is for me. But obviously, if we had to look at both, you know, Ganyu and Yanagi together, clearly Yanagi is winning this one. Clearly. And there is tons of jiggles that just don't make any kind of sense. But at the very same time, yeah, Yanagi is for sure worth it. For sure. And that's kind of the reason why I had to put her way above everybody else so far. But I won't lie, if you said you wanted to switch out this next person for her to be kind of above her, I can believe you, which is gonna be Juyeon. Now the reason why I put Juyeon here is because of the same reason for Chingy. Maybe there's some compression here, maybe her boob is actually like a lot bigger, right? We know what the other end is when it comes down to her being bigger, but when it comes down to Booba, I feel like she's a bit smaller. But the reason why I'll put her here is because of maybe compression issues. Maybe that's the reason as to why. I don't know, right? It's a very cooked situation, but that's kind of where I'm kind of leaning towards Juyeon to be maybe just a slight bit bigger than Yanagi. Again, if you flip-flop this, I wouldn't be mad at you, and I could honestly, I could actually believe that. But I'll put Juyeon here just for the benefit of the doubt that maybe she's a bit bigger than she lets on. And that's essentially how I kind of feel when it comes down to it. So maybe Juyeon's a bit bigger, maybe Yanagi is, I don't know, but that's just how it's going to go. But now we have reached the top 10, at least in terms of the biggest and bustiest. And when it comes down to it, I feel like this is solid. But at the same time, with, like I said with Juyeon, you could easily flip-flop this a little bit. So for number 10, I have Jane, because of course I do. And honestly, I feel like Jane just has the perfect body type, or at least one of the perfect body types of any character in this entire game. I'm not gonna sit here and lie. Like, she has the same boob window as Emily do, which I'm not mad at that whatsoever, right? I'm not necessarily mad whatsoever, and it's nice to see that she can air them things out a little bit versus Juyeon, who can't, right? And who feels mad compressed. This doesn't feel mad compressed when it comes to Jane. It just feels like, no, this is what she has. This is just how it is for her, and I'm not necessarily ultra mad for it. So when it comes down to Jane as a whole, I do feel like she does reach the top 10 level. but only at 10, because I think any further than that in terms of booba, I feel like it's a bit of a lie. So that's kind of where it is for me. But above her at number 9 is gonna be Caesar, and I do feel like Caesar has a lot more to offer than even Yanagi, if I'm gonna be honest, and basically anybody else so far, because she is that damn good, right? Yes, also, once again, I do feel like there is boob compression here, but you can clearly see, you know, how big she actually is versus literally anybody else. Plus, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of mad I don't got Caesar, same way I kind of feel about Jane, if I'm being honest, but still, regardless, Caesar is pretty dang good. I can see why she has, you know, a lot of it, right? I can see why she has become the overlord of the outer ring, because she has a booba for days that feeds the streets. Forget the sons of Caledon, she's the milk of Caledon. That's just ultimately how it is, and just yes to everything. But above Caesar, I'll put Astra Yao here, right? Now, I'm not gonna lie, Astra, at first, when I was really thinking about this video and trying to do it, I was like, oh, Astra don't got that much. She don't got no ass. She ain't got no, she got boob, but she don't got that much of it. And I was wrong on both accounts. Astra has a lot in both regions, and it's kind of crazy to sit here and think about that she does have that. And it's like, well, now that I see it, and now that I see it move a lot, I'm not gonna lie, makes a lot of sense. I can see why plenty of people, you know, fawn over Astra, because yeah, she has all the looks that you could possibly ask for. She genuinely does, and it makes a boatload of sense now. Genuinely, like, there is no way you can sink that booba milky ship. There is no damn way. So I feel like Astra is in a decent place at number 8. But then at number 7, I'm not gonna lie, as big as Astra is, I feel like Ellen is bigger. Am I tripping? Like, I feel like the Shark Girl is bigger than Astra Yao. I might be tripping here, right? But at the very same time, I feel like Ellen ain't no slouch though, you know? I feel like the Shark Girl can definitely show you a few things when it comes down to it. Like, she already has a lot to work with. Like, just to give very much a stack, it's just like, I feel like Ellen just works a lot more, has it a lot more than Astra does, at least in my opinion. Again, could be just me, could be just, you know, how it is. But I'm not gonna lie, in terms of raw boob power, I feel like Ellen has a bit more. So for me personally, I would choose some Ellen Shark Boob over some Astra Yao, even though I feel like Yao has the sling fest of it, right? Where she can just wiggle those things around like it's menu hiking show ass slinging around the boobs and all that type of stuff. Maybe. I'm still gonna give it to Ellen. But to redeem Astra Yao, I feel like at number 6, it has to be Evelyn, right? Evelyn is just ridiculous. I feel like arguably you could put Evelyn at number 1, and I couldn't get mad at you. I couldn't get mad at you because, yeah, I feel like that is how it is, and ultimately she's just way too stacked up for her own damn good, if I'm gonna be honest, right? It's just kind of crazy. Like, she dead ass has so much boob, it's crazy to me. And arguably, when we get to that video again, possibly has the biggest ass, but we'll get to that when we get to it. But in terms of booba, I can see you argue that Evelyn is number 1, and I can get that. That being said, I do feel like there's a few characters in my personal opinion that I feel like is a bit bigger than Evelyn, which is what we're gonna get to with the top 5. Which at number 5 is Grace. And to keep it very much honest, I don't know what to tell you. Grace is just big as hell, and it doesn't make any kind of sense. She's the fattest tit woman I've ever seen, and it just doesn't make any kind of sense. Or like, I don't get it. I do not, right? Really, Kaleda got the short end of the stick here. But when it comes down to it though, Grace is just big. She's just big as hell. I don't see how anybody at Bellabog Industries don't work there and don't stare at Grace sweaty ass tits and just be like, holy shit. Granted, Kaleda will probably bash your whole balls in with her hammer or whatever, but at the very same time, you know, it is what it is. You know damn well people be staring hard as hell and potentially wanting to clap Grace when she has the free time, and that's just ultimately how it is. Kind of probably how Kaleda gets clapped by Ben all the damn time, because she's just getting used by bears all the time. But we ain't gonna get into that. But still, Grace is just huge. She is ridiculous. It's a level of bigness that I can't even fathom, honestly. That's just how big Grace is. And the fact that there's people I think is above her is also crazy work too. Which, number 4, we have Rena. And I'm not gonna lie, Rena might be the perfect ass body in the entire game. Like, I know I said that with Jane, but in terms of like the most perfect body, I think Rena has it. I'm not gonna lie. Because she literally, one, her skin is so damn shiny when you can see it. And at the very same time, she moves in all the right ways. Literally, as we talk about, you know, the other aspect of Rena later, whenever that video happens, I'm not gonna lie, she looked like her ass is coated, I have to say it, her ass looked like it's coated with honey buns. Like, literally, it's coated with sticky honey buns, like whole ass substance or whatever. And essentially, it just looked like you're gonna have some sweets down there. It is what it is. And you mean to tell me her booba is pretty much on point, just as much as her booty is? Are you shitting me? Like, dead ass. I could flip flop Rena here to be number 3. And like, I could put her in the top 3. Arguably, she is within my top 3 if I were to actually, you know, pick some different ways of making that happen, because Rena's just damn perfect. She can't cook for shit, but she's perfect with all the other areas. She provides all the milk when it comes down to Victoria housekeeping, right? Lycon ain't gonna say shit because he know he getting some of that milk all the time. We know Lycon. We understand why he's so cold, calm, collected, because Rena breastfeeds you a ton of times and you just sit there and enjoy it, and that's just how it is. So arguably, I can feel this, right? I feel like anybody from Evelyn could deadass be like number 1 or in these high ass positions swapped all around. But still, you know, this is just how this list just happens to be for me. But again, Rena, she could very much be like number 3 or even number 1 if that's what you want to do. Because in number 3 position, I have Pulchra, right? So I'm not gonna lie, when they released that whole ass like ASMR massage therapy type video on the channel, I'm not gonna lie, it was GG's. The moment we saw that, it was GG's because of how just fine she is, right? And potentially turn a lot of us furry that damn day. So that's just also how that goes too. And would you deny yourself this? Would you deny yourself this? Would you deny yourself literally any character that we talked about recently? I don't think you would. So when it comes down to Pulchra, she is amazing, right? Ignore the fact that I don't have her leveled up, but just look at her. She just looks so damn good. Like, you want these furry ass tits. Kinda. To be honest, absolutely, if I'm being real. Like, this shit reminds me of what fan fiction version of Tigress from Kung Fu Panda would be like. Genuinely. So that's just ultimately how it is for Pulchra. I can very much understand why I put her in number 3, because it's a lot to work with. And going to number 2, controversial pick again, but I'm gonna say Nicole. I'm just am. At this point, that's just ultimately how it is for me, because literally Nicole 1 is the poster girl of the game, pretty much. And when you really think about it, all she has is a mad booba for days, right? That is like her main bread and butter, and putting some butter in between her booba sounds amazing, but that's her main thing. Doesn't matter which outfit she has, whether it's like the new outfit or her old one, she just has it. And especially her old one, where it's just so much more flaunty, so much more just cunty, if I'm being honest. It's just more great. Again, this is one of those situations where it's like, I can't sit here and deny myself, oh, would I want some of that Nicole booba? Abso-freaking-lutely. Do I like her as a character personality wise? No, not necessarily, but we can put that aside if you just whip them titties out for me real quick and let me see what we have here. Honestly, that's all I need to see, right? It's just good. Nicole is just that damn great, and there's really no way I could not put her in a number 2 position, or at least a top 5. So when it comes down to it, Nicole is just that game. It's just that damn good. There's a reason why she's again the poster child of the damn game. But if we have to talk about number 1, which I think you obviously should know at this point who the hell it is, if we have to really bring that up, it has to be Bernice. Bernice is just too damn jiggly. She just moves in all types of directions that makes everything makes sense, right? She has the ass, she has the booba, and again, not focusing on the ass in this one, but still, she just has a lot to go for her, right? And it doesn't help when her whole ass pose in like the main menu of selections is literally her just like bouncing all over the place, giving you full frontal assault of booba and just all that stuff. It's just amazing. Bernice is literally peak as hell. Maybe not gameplay wise, because I kind of hate her gameplay, but when it comes down to it though, she is just peak as hell when it comes down to many different aspects of this. And honestly, I feel like Bernice is genuinely the best description of what ZZZ can be about. It can be about fun, big booba, and all that type of stuff, but at the same time, it just showcases you how good this animation is, how good the quality of this game is, and how it can be, and everything of the sort like that. So for me personally, definitely, I have to put Bernice at number 1. Burning Desires aside, and the wackiness of that damn music video, just overall, just Bernice, yes to an absolute T. But that's, I guess, all I gotta say for this one, because genuinely there's just a lot of characters in this, and to be keeping it very much a stack, it's a lot to kind of go through. And at the very same time, it's hard to put a list like this together and be like, oh, absolutely factual and without being opinionated whatsoever, because dude, there are so many characters that's worth a damn. There are so many, and you can flip-flop a lot of this shit around if you just choose to, right? But ultimately, I just want to showcase the power of booba within ZZZ and really just show you how good it actually is. But hopefully you did enjoy. Let me know in your own opinion who you think the top 5 would potentially be for you, because I'm kind of curious to see what people will put down together. But hopefully you did enjoy. If you did, be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification on your way out. Also follow me on socials, and if you'd like to donate to the channel, Kofi and Cash App is available as well. And until then, it's your boy Jay, signing off. Have a blessed day.